What does the Mishnah teach about the Messiah? The Messiah is one of the most important Jewish hopes. It comes from the oldest Jewish writing. He's promised in the Hebrew Bible. In fact, many Jewish sages have pointed out that even though the Hebrew Bible has many different stories and books about different things, they're all ultimately about the Messiah. The Talmud says, all the prophets prophesied only about the days of the Messiah, Sanhedrin 99a. But the Mishnah, one of the most foundational texts in Judaism today, is not focused on the Messiah at all. The Mishnah was a text written down well after the Hebrew Bible was finished, after Jesus, and after the destruction of the Second Temple. And it only mentions the Messiah once clearly, one single sentence. And that's just to say, if you deny he's coming, you lose your share in the world to come, Sanhedrin 10. That's it. No description, no anticipation, no promise. That's a massive shift from all the prophets focusing on the Messiah to the rabbis who launched what became modern Judaism, barely mentioning him and focusing on practical life, the laws and traditions. In theory, the Torah, the first part of the Hebrew Bible, is considered the holiest text in Judaism. But in practice, the Mishnah shapes Jewish life more, because the Mishnah is a catalog of the laws and traditions that define traditional Judaism. This tells us something important. Judaism changed after the Bible was written. The Mishnah shows us that Judaism after the temple no longer centered its hope around the Messiah. Its focus shifted from faith in God's anointed, the Mashiach, to law, ritual, and community survival. Now, it's important to say that later rabbinic writings, like the Talmud, Midrashim, do say more about the Messiah. And different eras of Judaism focused on him more or less depending on their historical context. But the early rabbinic shift seen in the Mishnah shows us that the Judaism emerging after the Bible was not the one as the same found in the Bible and has a different focus. But let's keep in mind, rabbinic Judaism wasn't the only form of Judaism that survived after the temple. There was also a thriving movement of Jewish people who continued to center their faith on the Messiah just as the Bible had. Thousands of Jewish people accepted Jesus as the Messiah and followed his teachings in the New Testament, which, by the way, was written by Jewish authors even before the Mishnah. But if the Hebrew Bible really is centered on the Messiah, shouldn't we as Jewish people be centered on him too? The absence of the Messiah in the Mishnah shows that something changed, and we need to ask why.